Thank you. I will try to speak loudly so that you can hear me. As you have seen, I had a 40-minute conversation with Mr. Tamás Sulyok, the President of the Hungarian Republic. This is a serious day. Today, after a year and a half, I have become the strongest Hungarian party president in the Hungarian public media. In the past, everyone could see and hear why this propaganda machine had to be terminated, why it had to be changed in the current system. I think it was obvious to everyone. And then I came here to invite the president. Here in Sandor's palace, Sandor Morris Grof, in his former palace. He was the wild horse, one of the most famous Hungarian horsemen, who was riding on the stairs with a horse to the great riot of the ladies. He was later the Prime Minister's palace. Among others, Pál Teleki also worked here and became a suicide bomber during the World War. After the regime change during the first Orbán government, it was decided that the Prime Minister's office would move here again. The building was beautifully renovated, but after the government change, the socialist government decided that the Prime Minister would not move here, but that the former president of the Hungarian Republic, Ferenc Mandus, who was my father-in-law at the time, would move here as the president of the Republic for the first time. I thanked the president for the invitation, which was obviously a traditional invitation. He informed me about the schedule of the New York meeting. We agreed on a few things. A few minutes later, the most grateful Prime Minister arrived here, and he also agreed with the President of the Republic, as well as with the President of the Third Parliamentary Party. He informed the President of the Republic that he would ask me, as the President of the party, with the most votes for the formation of the government at the National Assembly. After the Hungarian Parliament elected me as Prime Minister, I will receive a government appointment. You can also know that the meetings between the leaders of the parties, with the participation of the Director General of Sándor Palace and the Director General of the National Assembly, as well as from the committees of the National Assembly, and from the process of the formation itself. I agreed on this, and the 10th Party will delegate several leaders here to participate in this protocol, but also in the political meeting. The Prime Minister said that, according to his calculations, perhaps the earliest, after the long weekend of May 1st, there will be a line for the formation of the National Assembly on May 4th. But in reality, he said that it may be on May 6th or 7th, the 1 or 2 days when there will be a line for the formation. According to the Hungarian constitution, after 30 days of the National Assembly election, the formative session must be convened. It is now May 12th, but we remain in the position that the Prime Minister will convene the formative session. He also thinks, and I think everyone thinks, that the Hungarian nation is interested in the possible speediest change of government and change of system after such a strong election campaign. So far, we have agreed on everything with the Prime Minister, and on the other hand, I told the Prime Minister, we have known each other for a long time, that I can repeat the same thing here among the four of us, in the wonderful blue salon next to the Maria Theresa salon, that the Hungarian people did not vote for a change of government, but for a change of system. I also repeated to him that in my eyes, and in the eyes of the Hungarian people, he is unworthy of embodying the unity of the Hungarian nation. He is unworthy of fighting for legitimacy, and he is unworthy of being an example for the Hungarian people, because there were many occasions when he had to defend the Hungarian people, the defense of the defenseless Hungarian children, or rather, he should have fought for a democratic state order, because things turned out that are completely unacceptable and intolerable. In a rule of law, in a brutal democracy, for example, that the country is being plundered, the national bank is being plundered, or that the ruling power, like in the 1950s, uses the secret services for party political purposes and tries to break up the most powerful Hungarian opposition party. The president of the party is working on it. The civilians are trying to destroy it, and I mentioned to the Prime Minister that I asked him to preserve the remains of the Hungarian rule of law and democracy by leaving the office on his own. After the change of government takes place, I will vote for the Prime Minister of the National Assembly, and I will establish the Tisza government. I asked him to reflect on our values. I told him that if he does not leave the office on his own, then we will live with the re-election, and with the re-election, and with the reform of the basic law, and with the necessary reforms, we will remove him from the office, and all the others, who the Orbán regime called out of place, be it the chief prosecutor or the president of the Constitutional Court. The president gave a dubious answer to this recording, because he said that he would also like to preserve the rule of law, the reputation of Hungary abroad. I asked him to reflect on our values, the values that he brought up. In his departure from the office, we agreed that the most important thing now is the formation of the National Assembly, the formation of the new government, because we are in the middle of an energy crisis, in a situation where the country's strategic oil production has decreased by about 20%. The government does nothing except for Facebook. The government does not give us any information, although it would be expected in a normally functioning country that a huge re-election, the president of the winning party, the chief prosecutor general, would give us information on the most important issues. I asked the President of the Republic. I asked him to report this to the chief prosecutor general, who was preparing for the meeting, on the terrace of the Carmelita Palace, so that we could agree on the most important issues and the decisions, but only those that are important from the perspective of Hungary's energy security, from the perspective of national security. The Prime Minister and the President of our country, and we will continue. On Friday, as I said, the representatives of the Tisza Party will come to this meeting, and we hope that after the legal and medical opportunities are closed as soon as possible, I will be able to say that I will get the government's approval, and the President of the Republic will highlight my feelings regarding his support. If he allows me, I will answer 3 to 4 questions, and I will go, because soon I have important telephone talks with the world leaders. I am very happy that the President of the USA said that we will be able to work well together, and that he expressed his opinion in a friendly way. I will talk on the phone with Benjamin Netanyahu, the President of Israel. Yesterday, I talked with Erdogan, the President of Turkey, but in total, I was able to have telephone talks with more than 20 European and other leaders. These were constructive, friendly telephone talks with the leaders of Central European countries and other major states. I was lucky to invite the leaders of the 56th Revolution, the 70th anniversary of the Revolution, to Budapest. The Hungarian people decided on the 12th of April that they would like to live in a sovereign, independent Hungary. I also accepted the invitation of several prime ministers and chancellors to European and other capitals. I will be able to visit Slovenia, and the leaders of the countries around us will be happy to come to Hungary, and we will be able to build a more successful and honest cooperation. We need a strong Central Europe, not only Hungary, but also Poland, Czech Republic, and Slovakia. I would like to thank our Polish friends for being here with us so that Hungary can be an independent, democratic, and sovereign country. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Thank you for your question about how the Prime Minister reacted when I told him that these words are inappropriate and disrespectful to the unity of the Hungarian nation. I hope that Fidesz will be able to support this. My first question is about a conversation that took place in a normal hall, and I told the Prime Minister not to take it personally and that he should know our position. He said that he knows our position and that he would like to clarify my point. My second question is about whether it would be worthwhile to change the basic law. I told him that I would be happy if we could limit the influence of the current Hungarian Prime Minister with breaks and opposition, so that what happened in the last 16 years, he agreed with this, because the Hungarian President and the Prime Minister have weakened the influence of the current Prime Minister. I can say that we would like to have a social and professional agreement that the next president should be elected in the current system or in a new one. We would like to reach a consensus. I am sure that we do not have a candidate who really embodies the Hungarian national unity. Fortunately, there was not even a Hungarian president of the Republic in 1998, even if many of them came from different sides. But they were able to work, and the people believed that they embodied the national unity. Here is the painting of a former Hungarian Prime Minister. We would like to reach a consensus. Do you have any more questions? Thank you. The question is about what we discussed on the telephone with the President of the European Union yesterday. What conditions can be met, and when can we invite Hungarian representatives to represent Hungary in Brussels, Strasbourg, Washington, and Moscow? We said that we can make changes in 4 areas very quickly. The first one is the integration of Hungarian institutions to the European Court of Justice. The second one is the restoration of the independence of the judiciary and the press. The third one is the return of the freedom of the press to the European Union. The fourth one is the restoration of the propaganda of state support. The fourth one is the return of academic freedom to the university citizens. I will work on it once the government is formed, sometime at the beginning of May. But in my opinion, later in the middle of May, after I visited Warsaw, I visited Vienna. Then in a day we can discuss in Brussels that there is an agreement and that the EU resources can arrive. We agreed with the President that the deadline is very, very short, as it is several thousand billion forints, until the end of August. And not only do we have to get a green light, but we also have to start concrete projects. We have to withdraw the money. This is a very short deadline. For several years, the government of Orbán has not done anything. They left this 8,000 billion forints there. In the meantime, they sold our country. We would like to bring exactly the opposite of this. And we agreed on it. And the President agreed that it cannot be otherwise than Hungary will receive this money, as all 26 other member states have already received this money earlier. This money goes to the Hungarian people, to the Hungarian hospitals, to the Hungarian public transport system, to the MAV, to the Hungarian small and medium-sized companies, and to the Hungarian farmers. So we will work on everything as soon as possible, but the Hungarian people, in any case, the Hungarian interests must be protected in order for this agreement to be formed. I order. How tense was this conversation with Mr. Orbán? Thank you. That was the question of the media in HUNGARY'S. How tense was this conversation with Mr. Orbán? If the conversation in the morning on the public media was tense, then it was one, I would say. It was not tense at all. We knew each other earlier with Mr. Orbán, and I think it was a completely cultural conversation. After that, he showed his own office. The president is lying on the table with the picture of Doc Ferenc. He showed the Maria Theresia plant. He also showed the mirror plant to me and my colleagues, where he usually gives the demonstrations and where the members of the new form will put down their vows. We went out to the terrace together, where the best view of Hungary can be seen, and we looked over the Carmelita Terrace, where the Minister of the Interior was preparing. One last question, I order. Thank you very much to everyone who was here. Good work. I wish you all the best. Goodbye.
Egy utolsó kérdés, parancsoljon.